is up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. So I have a used book haul. This is not even all of them. Shadow's very intrigued. He's been staring at this bag since I brought it in the house. But yeah, I'm gonna start with the big bag and I'll go to the next bag. But basically, if you don't know, the Benjamin Hook Central Library in Memphis, like in the Midtownish area, they have like a used bookstore and like their books are pretty cheap. Like I think the one that I looked at, that was the most, one of the books I got that was like the most expensive was like $5. But usually they're like $3-4 and they have like a $1 section. But yeah, like I love the librarian because, or I guess yeah, he would be sick of a librarian. But I love like him because like I realized I was looking at books and I realized, oh shit, like they're finna close. Cause I was like shit, I thought they like closed at the same time as the library, but they were not. And there were people in there like when I was in there, but I had like 2 arms full of like books, and he was like, he had said something and he was like, you know, you can still look around and stuff. And I was like, I could just sit them right here. And he was like, yeah. And like I probably went back to him like twice, 2 or 3 times, and he was like, you can look around, like take your time and stuff. And then like the last round when I went back and looked at books like by the spiritual section stuff, he started playing like Motown music, and I'm not gonna lie, it was just like, it was a vibe. Like that man let me stay like 15-20 minutes after they closed, and I love to see it. But yeah, he gave me a discount. Like he was like, because if you look, you'll see like you got a deal on more than just like what you got and stuff. And then like he let me get a whole like handful of like bookmarks, so I love to see it. But yes, let's go ahead and start because Shadow is also very intrigued. So the first book I got is These Same Long Bones, and this is by Gwendolyn M. Parker, and this was in the African American, like, you know, book section. So I was like, okay, and I just realized the child at the door and stuff. But this is the back of it. It's crazy because like they actually usually like actually did like the library system completely different. But yeah, I will read the inside of it for y'all. And this book was technically $3, and it says discarded by Memphis Public Library. So I'm gonna read the quote and like the inside cover. So first is a quote from Wendell Berry. This is a big-hearted book. Its subjects are loneliness and community failure and community responsibility, loss and grief and reconciliation, friendship, the coming of grace. These subjects in our day require courage and eloquence. Gwendolyn Parker has both. And then it says, These Same Long Bones is a radiantly generous story of a loss and redemption for a Southern Black community and this man who embodies its citizens' individual and collective dreams. Compassionate in its voice and vision, it lovingly evokes the rhythms of daily life and the underlying faith of an insular world rarely depicted in fiction. The Haiti section of Durham, North Carolina, the colored part of the town, is a self-sufficient middle-class enclave, carefully guarding its fragile independence on the eve of integration. At the center of Haiti's bustling prosperity is Sirius McDougald, president of the bank, a man whose integrity and warmth are matched by his sense of responsibility to the people he loves. But Cyrus has suffered an unthinkable tragedy, the death of his young daughter, Maddie, in the fall from her slide. Maddie was his treasure, his heart, and with her death, Cyrus has lost all his dreams, all his hope, and his will to fight. And so when Durham's white power brokers make an ominous incursion, and it goes back over here, into Haiti, endangering its cohesion, Cyrus must rally himself to act. Strength can come only from one source, the people who are as much a part of him as his own skin and bones, but they too are badly shaken. Torn between private sorrow and public duty, Cyrus makes a courageous decision that turns his grief to grace. From Cyrus to his bereft wife, from the local busybody to the ambitious preacher, These Same Long Bones embraces its unforgettable characters with warmth, humor, and deep affection. For its intimate glimpse of a close-knit Black community that presently viewed integration as both a promise and a threat, it poignantly recalls a way of life poised at an irreversible moment of change. Gwendolyn M. Parker left her career as an international tax attorney and marketing manager on Wall Street to devote herself to writing. Born in North Carolina, she graduated from Radcliffe College and the New York University School of Law and now lives in Connecticut. But yeah, I'm excited to read this one. I know this is gonna be one that like tugs at my heartstrings, so you know I'm definitely gonna have some tissues like stand by. I love like the random color right there. I'm trying to see. It's 260 pages. I feel like this is a book though that I could probably read really fast, but I'm excited to read that. This next book is Sorwana Octavia Paz, and this is a thick book. Like this is like over 400 like pages, and this one was $4. So this book is called Sorwana by Octavio Paz, I believe that's how you say it. And it says, an intellectual landmark, a superb interpretation of the life and work of the first great Latin American poet, and the richest portrait we have of the intellectual life of the Viceroyalty of New Spain. That's a quote from Carlos Fuentes, but yes, I'm intrigued to read this book, and apparently the writer has written a lot of like poems and stuff like that. So yeah, this book is big though. And then there's like a random sheet of paper up in here from when this person ordered it, and I don't know if they read it, or if they read it, like they didn't read all of it or something. This was in the spiritual section. So this says, Moon Magic, Your Complete Guide to Harnessing the Mystical Energy of the Moon by Diana Alquist. Just as our ancestors relied on the heavens to inform and predict many areas of life, we too can incorporate the powerful energy of the universe into our lives. Learn how to harness that power for manifesting your goals, finding emotional balance, and maintaining physical wellness in moon magic. If we look to the skies, we can connect to our world in ways that we may never have considered. Using the moon's power begins with understanding its potential. From new moons to eclipses, blood moons, and the supermoon, there are ample opportunities for the moon to influence your emotions and thoughts. Knowing when and how to use that power is key to affecting change in your life. You are in control of your journey, so navigate using the moon and see what amazing destinations you can reach. Third generation intuitive Diane Alquist guides you to incorporate the moon's energy into your everyday life for health and prosperity with moon magic. But yeah, I'm excited because I'm supposed to wear these. So, me and the moon go together real bad. But I think it'll be nice to actually, know the reason why, you do certain rituals or certain manifestations with the, certain moon phases. I feel like that would be really informative. And the first chapter that I'm over here looking at is chapter 13, Full Moon Meditations for Intuition, the Power of Full Moon Meditations. And the pages 1, 2, 3. So, so this book is from John Gray. It says, New Eastern Mythology in Mesopotamia, Syria, and Palestine. When I saw Palestine, I was like, I really do want to, look and see, just the history of it and stuff. One of my co-workers is Palestinian. I grew up, really close to someone who's Palestinian. So I'm just really intrigued to just kind of see the different things in the history and stuff, because I'm a history buff. I genuinely honestly love looking back at old history, and even the history of the places we live in today. So on the inside it says Near Eastern mythology. The Near East has often been called the cradle of civilization, but until comparatively recent archaeological discoveries, we knew little of the beliefs of the early peoples. Now we can appreciate the richness of the myths of the Sumerians, Babylonians, Assyrians, and Canaanites. And in this book, we see the powerful influence that these stories had on the beliefs and myths of the Jews. The most famous Mesopotamian myth is the Gilgamesh epic, which tells of the heroic adventure of the mighty Gilgamesh and his faithful comrade Enkidu. The legend culminates in Gilgamesh's descent to the underworld in search of immortality. There he hears the story of the flood, which bears very close resemblance to the flood story in Genesis, including landing an ark with every species of animal and sending out birds to test whether the water had receded. The Mesopotamians and Canaanites worship the many gods, but there are close resemblances between the characters and functions of the Mesopotamian Enlil and the Canaanite Baal. Both wield the weapon of lightning. Both are champions of divine order against the menace of chaos. In the Canaanite mythology is far from the wicked monster portrayed in the Old Testament. The author seeks out the genuine historical facts behind well-known stories as the exploits of Samson and the deliverance of the Israelites from Egypt. He gives a fascinating account of the relationship between the human king and the divine king as viewed by the Mesopotamians, Canaanites, and Israelites. This book is beautifully illustrated with many of the masterpieces of Near Eastern sculpture. And this is 24 pages of basically well, actually, I think it might be a little bit more than 24 pages. It definitely is. Oh, yeah. It just says 20 pages of color, but this was $30. And once again, I'm excited to, dive into this. Next book is a book that was in the spiritual section, so towards the end of, my little shopping. This is the Good Luck book, and it has an A through Z guide to charms and symbols. And this is by Bill Harris, so if you know me, once again, spiritual girly. So I think it'll be nice to kind of just see what creatures or what charms and certain things harness certain energy of what people believe, because I like to tie that into my art. On the back it says, learn the fascinating facts and legends behind more than 100 charms, rituals, and symbols that tradition decrees can bring good luck, from amulets to keep you safe such as the St. Christopher Medal to the magic of a wishbone wish. Here is an A through Z listing of the most famous lucky charms that have stood the test of time. Discover answers to who carried a four-leaf clover except on the day he died? What gemstone gives the wearer strength and power? What's your lucky number? What is the best charm for you? Some people are born lucky, others take steps to attract good fortune. Whether it's love, success, or wealth you seek, a little luck couldn't hurt. So this was like in the little like Memphis section, and I had to get it because I love like finding books and stuff of like old Memphis, because I feel like we don't really tap or like really just know about the history. Like most typical people who are from Memphis or living in Memphis don't really know the like history of what the city was, especially like 1800s and stuff. Like we know bits and pieces, but we don't really like pay attention to the certain traditions or like things that were happening during that time. But this is the Images of Beale Street by Larry Moore. This is the deluxe edition. On the back it says, it's 1909, the dawn of a new turbulent century with new technologies, styles, and social issues. In this new world, a young black attorney, Thomas Radford, fights for justice on the battlefields of Cuba and in the courts of the city of Memphis. Thomas, struggling for acceptance by both the black and white communities, is drawn into the tough, hard-nosed politics of Memphis, a city coming to terms with its past and bracing for the turbulence or the turbulence of the future. A historical novel based on the true facts of the city. So, yes. The next book is a mythology book by Edith Hamilton, and this is like a thick one. Like, there's a lot. There's almost like 500. There's like 450 pages in here. But it talks about classical mythology, Greek, Roman, and Norse myths. And I'm going to read the inside cover. This was $4. So on the inside it says, there has long been a need for the stories of ancient mythology written to appeal to the 20th century mind. Edith Hamilton's orderly and lucid presentation of Greek, Roman, and Norse mythology promises the casual reader and the avid student a sound, modern, and adult key to the foundation stones of world literature. Her years of study of classical literature have already produced notable books, and the charm of her writing is well established by the Greek way and the Roman way. She has not been content to be merely a retailer of tales. She has blended and organized the sometimes conflicting myths of the early storytellers, molding them with vivid clarity. So yeah, I love mythology and stuff. So I keep saying I'm excited to read stuff, but I really am. Not gonna lie, I'm finna stop reading the inside covers because the girl is tired. Like, I love y'all, but I'm gonna be here for like 2 hours. So this is also in the Memphis section, and it says Cotton Mather's Journey to Memphis. This is by Celia Croft Planton. So on the back it says, Cotton Bowles and Papa Jim are unlikely friends. One is a young white man called up to serve in the National Guard to control rioting in Memphis. Another is a wounded Vietnam War hero. And the third has built a remarkable library that serves as a beacon of hope in his poor community. All three have secrets that could easily destroy their friendship. At the center of these secrets is Cotton's brother, who was killed in Vietnam under shadowy circumstances. When the truth is revealed, Cotton will have to choose between violence or forgiveness, while all around him, Memphis reacts to the news that Martin Luther King Jr. has been assassinated. A coming-of-age story set against the civil rights movement, Cotton Mather's offers a glimpse into a little-known aspect of the era, the resilience and compassion of the Memphis community. This book was $3. So this was in the African American little story section. I don't know which one you want to say, but I'm going to say BB's by Golly Wow. This is by Yolanda Joe, and she was the author of He Say, She Say, and I love the cover. I'm not gonna lie to you, I love it. And then this is her on the back, inches, okay. And this book, I don't even know. This one was withdrawn by the Memphis Public Libraries. So on the inside it says, baby, a 40-something bank supervisor and recent college graduate has finally found a reason to end the self-imposed man sabbatical she began in Yolanda Joe's first novel, He Say, She Say. A charming and sweet firefighter named Isaac Sizemore, a big strapping steak-colored man who is as strong as he is sensitive. Isaac is the man of baby's dreams, but he's also a father dealing with the challenges of raising a 13-year-old daughter on his own. Much to baby's surprise, Isaac's whip-smart daughter, Deshae, turns out to be the other woman who threatens to keep them apart. Meanwhile, Sandy, baby's best friend, who is struggling in the workplace as she clashes with the new owners of the radio station, continues on her adventure in search of true love, refusing to give up. It's set in Chicago, and I'm not going to read the back because there's more, but enough. I've been trying to, like, increase my collection of, like, black novels and stuff, and this was in, like, the science fiction section. So the first one is House of Saints and Sorrows, and yeah, I just love, like, science fiction books. That's probably my favorite genre. On the back it says, in a manor by the sea, 12 sisters are cursed. Annalie lives a sheltered life at Highmore with her sisters. Once there were 12, but loneliness fills the grand halls now that 4 of the girls' lives have been cut short. each death more tragic than the last. That's crazy. Disturbed by a series of ghostly visions, Annalie becomes increasingly suspicious that her sister's deaths were no accidents. The girls have been sneaking out every night to attend glaring balls, dancing until dawn in silk gowns and shimmering slippers, and Annalie isn't sure whether to try to stop them or to join the forbidden tryst. So this book is called The Ancient Nine by Ian K. Smith. I'm gonna read part of the inside. Oh, he's black. Yes, we love a black author. But this was also discarded. This was $3. Next book is Ancient Light, Our Changing View of the Universe by Alan Lightman. And yeah, if you know me, I love space. So the next book is The Seasons of Binta Blackbird. And this is by Brown and Little, I believe. I just was like, okay, let's just read this book. I forgot where it was, but it's like 300 something pages and it's $3. The next book, I was like, yeah, we just got to get it. So this is The Gay American History, Lesbians and Gay Men in the USA. And I really am just intrigued to see what this talks about, like to see if it like talks about like, you know, the important like African American people who like, you know, fought for certain things. I want to see, you know, what this really entails. And this is a big book. There's like 600 pages. But yeah, last one in my big red bag is this one, and this is The Mermaid Chair. This is by Sue Monk Kidd, and then this is the author of The Secret Life of Bees. And you know, I love anything dealing with mermaids, so when I saw that that was the author, I was like, okay, you know, people are saying she's a good author, so might as well read it. But there's like 300 pages in here, and it was $4. Okay, now we're getting to the last bag that is almost like falling apart. So I was getting some of the like comics and stuff because one, I do want to actually write my own comic and stuff, so I kind of want to like look at the layout and stuff to see how things are done. And then this is the front cover. This is Stark Raven. So yeah, first off, we love women that look amazing, but yeah, I'm really intrigued to just like see the storytelling, because I've been trying to push myself to go ahead and just write a comic, because I don't think it's that hard. Because when I say I don't think it's that hard, it's because I've definitely written comics in the past and I can like write and like design. So I'm like, Ariel, just fucking do it. Like, you can do it, so just go ahead and do it. So that's basically my research. But I also got this one, and this one is, I don't know. But I don't even know how to say the title. But this is what it is, and I thought it was cool. And it just says she's a wizard school dropout on the back. Oh, I guess this is the second one. I don't know what the first one is. She's a wizard school dropout. Persephone Mori is a wizard without a degree, and that's a big problem. Because no one hires a wizard school dropout, even when she's from the most prestigious magic university in the country. With student loans calling and prospects looking dim, everything seriously sucks. That's when she's hired as an assistant to Leeds, the monstrous superintendent of a mysterious brownstone. Everything is great, or it would be if she and Leeds could just get along. They each have their own baggage and 100 reasons to hate each other. But Persephone is determined to make it work, even if Leeds isn't, and he'd better watch out because Persephone never gets up without a fight. So I'm intrigued to see what is actually going on here. But yeah. Also, I like seeing the different like sizes of like different like comics or like mangas and stuff to kind of figure out like what I'm gonna do for like mine. Then I saw this other one, and then this is Jane's World by Paige Bradcock. And yeah, this is a thicker one, and it's like just the black and white images, which I think is cool. Yes, this is literally just like research at this point. That's what most of my comics are. And then this one is Under the Moon by Lauren Miracle. And this is a Catwoman tale, so I thought that was cool. This is what it looks like on the back. Yes. And then this was in like, I think the fiction or something section. But this is Mistress of the Empire. And like, I don't know, old books like this I feel like are pretty cool to read. And then first off, look at this. Like, this book is definitely, I'm trying to see how old. It's $4. 1992, so it's not that old. But I feel like the books from a certain time period have a certain look to them, and you can instinctively tell that they're not like modern. But I kind of love those stories, and the cover art kind of won me over. So I got this book, and this is Morabito, Guardian of the Spirit, and I thought that this was a really cool cover. So I was like, oh, I know I'm gonna love this. Yes. And it's actually like a storybook, and I'm just intrigued because I love like to just see books and stuff from like different like cultures that like tap into like the magical or like spiritual aspect of stuff. And then I see over here it talks about the water spirit, so you know this is gonna be a book that I probably read soon. And then this book is India Land of the Black Pagado. And this is one of the books keeps talking about, like, this is the book that like it's hard to get off the shelf. First off, it was $3. I'm trying to see when this book was. There's actual like pictures in here. Some pictures. This thing said copyright 1930. And this next book is Salman Rushdie. I think that's what it's called. And then, oh, so the author is Salman Rushdie. I think that's how you say his last name. And then this is Luca and the Fire of Life. I thought this, like, first off, this just looked like it was going to be a really interesting book. And I don't even know how much it was. This was also discarded by the libraries. And this is the last book I got. And when I saw that it was a black woman on the cover, but this is the Oxford Illustrated History of Opera. And fun facts, I actually love the opera. Like, sometimes I just be singing in an opera style. I don't know what it is, but I love it. So I was like, let me go ahead and get this so I can like learn about the history and stuff. Because I think that's really like, I don't know. I'm someone I feel like loves the history of stuff just because it makes sense and you can think about why things were done a certain way. And this is from the Germantown the Branch Library, but I guess nobody wanted it. But this was $3, and I know that first off, the dramatics, yeah. But this is a thick book. Like, this is an encyclopedia for real. But that's basically my book haul. As you can see, I have a whole bunch of books. I ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. I got 24 books for $62. And then I got some bookmarks because he was like, take a whole bunch of them. And I just like picked some of the ones that I thought that were cute. Apparently these are like scraps from a local artist, like her watercolor scraps. And she like hand ties this. Girl, the commitment, I love to see it. But yeah, I just picked the ones that I thought that were cute. Love them. So I have like a whole bunch of bookmarks for the 10 million books that I have. So yeah, but I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you want me to show y'all like a tour of like my books, please let me know. If y'all want me to read a book and like kind of do like a weekly like little like book club update, please let me know, because I feel like that would be kind of fun and I can just kind of tell y'all like what I learned from like certain chapters and stuff. But if that sounds interesting, let your girl know. But I love y'all so much, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye.